Hey everybody, this is Tony with MyRepairApp, and I'm here to go over the latest changes made to all things printing. So we're going to start out real quickly going into settings, and we have two ways of printing. You can print either through your browser settings or through PrintNode. So we do have an integration with PrintNode. If you are using that, I'll show you how to take advantage of it. So you're going to go to Integrations, PrintNode. If you haven't set it up before, it's real simple. You're going to go to their website, printnode.com. So I already created my login. If you haven't, you would just do that right here. Once you have that login, you are going to just sign in here. And you're going to go to downloads on the left-hand side and download the appropriate printer driver for your system. So if you're using a Windows-based computer, download here. If you're using a Mac, download here, and so on and so forth. Once you do that and you get that installed, you're going to go ahead and click on API keys in the top here. It's going to request your password one more time. You're going to log in, and then you would just create a new API key here, right here where it says API key description. Name it whatever you want to name it. I have multiple versions for all the different testing that we do. Once you do that, just copy the API key that it produces, go over back to MyRepairApp, paste it here, hit save, and then select enabled, and now you'll print via the PrintNode integration. And so over here is where you would have the label, thermal, and invoice settings. Now, if you're using a Windows-based computer, you don't have to do anything else as far as drivers. However, if you do have a Mac, you have to download they have a separate login for PrintNode where you have to do a little bit of tweaking with the settings sometimes, where they have a separate PrintNode client. So I'll show that over here. So once you sign in, again, this is only for Macs. If you're using a Windows-based computer, it's not an issue. So you would just click on printers and you see all your printers here. I don't really know too much about it, but I do know you have Engine 7 and Engine 5. You may have to switch between the two in order for the formatting to print correctly. Once you choose 7 or 5, you test out the printing. You'll know right away if this is good to go or not. So we'll start with label settings. So you just select your printer of choice, right? And of course, if you're using whatever printer, whether it's Dymo, Brother, or a label or a thermal receipt printer, just make sure that you go to the appropriate browser, the appropriate website for your printer, and download the drivers for the most up-to-date drivers for your printer directly from the manufacturer. Once you have that, this is all easy. So for the labels for this in PrintNode, you have to find the labels that work for you. So this is a millimeter by millimeter. And so this part right here will require a little bit of trial and error. It took me a little bit of time to go through to find out which one works for me. And again, depending on the size of your label, you'll just have to go through and find what works. Once you select the label size like this, press Save Settings and then press Test Print, and you'll go ahead and see if the formatting is correct. Again, this will take a few minutes, a little bit of trial and error, then you'll figure it out and you're all set to go. Once you have that ready, thermal receipts, much easier. Select your thermal receipt printer. Paper size, you can actually just leave it blank and just select fit to page. That's it. As long as that fit to page is selected, it will print the appropriate length and the appropriate width of the thermal receipt paper. Real easy. Invoice settings, similar concept. You're going to just select the paper size that you print with invoices. Fit to page if you like. Again, there's a little bit of tweaking here and there depending on your personal preferences, the printer you're using, and the drivers for your printers. And again, same concept. Once you make any changes, press Save Settings, Test Print, verify from there. Once that's all set, you're good to go. Once you have that set up, whether you're using PrintNode or not, you're going to select under Ticket Preferences, Label Settings, and here is where the magic happens. So right here we have two default sizes. We have a big label, and then we also have a small label. You'll see the design differences here. For the purposes of this video here, I'm just going to stick with the small label because it seems that's where most people are using. However, if you have a larger size label that is approximately 4 by 2 inches, you can still customize it here. So you can just change the font. So for instance, what's really cool about this is you can change the font. So if I want to put more preference on the name of the device, so on and so forth, I can do that here. And if I have a label that's sized a little bit different than this, I can just make the adjustments here. And if you prefer centimeters, you can use centimeters here. So we're going to go ahead and select small labels. So for me, mine is approximately 2.13 inches. by 1 inch as far as the label goes. And what's really neat here is you can see what it looks like in a test environment. So what I would like to do is maybe I want to make it where the name of the customer is more prominent. So it's fully customizable. It's really, really cool. So this does multiple things. Again, because you can put in your size label here, virtually any size label you use, it's applicable. It works just fine. So you can change the name of the customer header font. You have the device info font. Maybe you want to see the device more, or maybe you don't really care too much, right? You just want to know the customer's name. Field labels font on the left-hand side here, you'll see where it says contact, passcode. You can make it smaller, larger. You get the point. Over here, you can change the barcode text size, which is going to be the ticket number. So again, you can make that as big as you want or as small as you want. And you can see right there on the left-hand side as that changes. You can also change the size of the barcode. Now, the only downside or thing to be careful with when you change the barcode size is it does impact everything else quite tremendously, and it can impact the scannability of the barcode. So what you want to do is test print, right? Once you're ready, once you made the changes you made, hit test print and you're all set. You can then scan the barcode, make sure it's scannable. And if for whatever reason you made too many changes and you want to start from scratch, just hit reset to default, and the default will allow you to scan the barcode and everything is set back to where it was. Right here, you'll see browser and PrintNode. So this is all for the browser settings. So for instance, if I go ahead and select test print, it's going to show me what it looks like on browser. So what you'll see where the difference is here is this looks like it's all properly spaced out. Hit test print. It is not the same thing. That is because with the browser, again, it is going off of your browser settings. So even though here it says 2.5 by 1 inches, when I hit test print, this is different. So what you want to do is just find the most similar or closest size label that you have. So mine would be approximately this one here. If I select the smaller one, this fits appropriately. And then if you need to make any adjustments, you can make them here in your browser, right? So, okay, if you want to add headers and footers, you can. If you want to add other things, you can. That's totally up to you. It's fine. So for instance, if I add the footers and headers, that's what's going to be here. That's all browser. So if you're using the browser printer, anything and everything related to the sizing is going to be done here. You can scale up and down here, so on and so forth. PrintNode, we already set up these settings in this earlier, and if you'll see, it looks a little bit different. That's just based on how the PrintNode drivers work. Same concept, I would hit test print, but since the entire purpose of PrintNode is more automated labels and automated printing, it's not going to pop up on the browser because it's not using the browser, right? It's using the PrintNode drivers, whereas the browser is using the PC's browser drivers. So it's using different systems here. So we have both based on what you would like to do. And so what you'll see, they look a little bit different. So if I go and make changes to the barcode text size, you'll see a little bit different here. And again, fully customizable. In addition to the sizes being customized, I'm going to change this down here. You can also include the initial diagnostics/notes onto the label. So for that device, right? So if you have a device and you just want to put in the individual notes for that device, select that here. And then in these different rows, you can choose what you want displayed on the label. It's real easy, real simple. So if I just change it up, it'll go ahead and display everything and it'll show me. And again, see how it's cutting off. So maybe I need to make something smaller, or maybe I need a bigger label size. Pretty straightforward. That's all there is to it. And of course you can name your label printer, and if you can also name the other printers if you so want. But also right here, you'll see logo. This is where you can upload your company logo. You can have that on your receipt paper. So for instance, if I were to go to a ticket here, so let's just select a random ticket. I'm going to select this, and I'm going to press on print. And so right here, you would have PrintNode or browser. So you can swap between them. With the PrintNode browser, you can push this button here. That'll open up your cash register if you have your cash register connected to your computer with whatever cable they use. So I'm going to go on browser, press receipt. And again, right here, right, this is my Dymo. Then I'll go back to my thermal receipt paper and see how it's formatted a little bit weird. That is because of how I have it set here. So I can go and just hit none, and it formats it. So again, when you're printing browser, if anything here isn't correct, it's all done through your browser settings. So if it's printing too long, again, this is all done through here, and you can change it as you want here. So you'll see we have the company logo on the top here. We also added a barcode on the bottom. So when your customers come in to pick up their device, you scan the barcode, and you also can have the ticket number right here as well. And that's it. Those are the changes we made to the printing. If you have any feedback, any questions, let us know. If you ever have any questions about anything, right here in the bottom right corner, we have a support icon. Press that. And we have videos on everything. First of all, on our YouTube, but also here. So if I go and importing information, so like importing inventory groups, so on and so forth, we have step-by-step guides on everything. So we really want to make this easier to use. But also, if you have any questions that you want to contact us directly, press this here. You can contact us here, and then when we respond, you'll get a notification here, and you'll respond here. And that concludes all of our changes regarding printing, labels, and receipts. Thanks so much for watching.